See, the investment multiplier explains how many times the aggregate income increases as a result of an increase in investment. And when the level of investment increases by an amount, say for instance, we can call it as delta 1. Delta is nothing but change. The equilibrium level of income will increase by some multiple amounts that is in the form of delta y. So whenever income increases, automatically there will be some change in respect of income also. Whenever level of investment investment increases, the equilibrium level of income will increase by some multiple amounts. And the ratio of delta y to delta I, that is increase in investment, can be considered as delta I, and the increase in income can be treated as delta y. The ratio between delta y and delta I is actually called as the investment multiplier. And what kind of effect is created by such a investment multiplier in respect of autonomous investment? See, when we see the diagram, whenever an increase in autonomous investment shifts the aggregate demand schedule from C plus I to C plus delta I. So increase, assume that this is autonomous investment. Whenever there is some increase in it, automatically the increase, that is correspondingly the demand curve or demand schedule also gets shifted. Investment shifts the aggregate demand schedule from the original demand schedule is actually C plus I. Now it has become C plus I plus delta I. And previously the equilibrium at y0 level is E. That is also shifted from E to E1. And the equilibrium income increases more than proportionately from y0 to y1. So whenever autonomous investment increases, what happens? It shifts the demand curve from that original place to some other position, and due to that the equilibrium point also gets changed. That is, there is a shift of equilibrium point. Whenever income increases from y0 to y1, equilibrium point also shifts from E to E1, and the new demand line will be C plus I plus delta I. Delta is change in investment. So the investment multiplier can be termed as K, which is nothing but delta y divided by delta I. So இந்த Kங்கிற investment multiplier கண்டுபிடிக்கிறதுக்கு நமக்கு தேவையானது change in income divided by change in investment. இன்கம்ல எவ்வளவு சேஞ்ச் இருக்கு divided by change in investment. இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்ல எவ்வளவு சேஞ்ச் இருக்கு, அதுலயும் உள்ள இன்கம்லயும் இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்லயும் உள்ள சேஞ்சை மட்டும் கணக்கு பண்ணி நம்ம ரேஷியோ கண்டுபிடிச்சோம்னா அதுக்கு பேரு இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட் மல்டிப்ளையர். So it can be computed as a ratio between change in income and change in investment. For instance, if you consider the change in investment as some 2000 million rupees and assume that it results a change in national income of 6000 million. உங்க இன்வெஸ்ட்மெண்ட்ல வந்து ஒரு 2000 மில்லியன் சேஞ்ச் இருக்கு, அதோட ரிசல்ட் வந்து டோட்டல் நேஷனல் இன்கம்ல 6000 மில்லியன் கிரியேட் பண்ணுதுன்னா அப்போ டெல்டா ஒய் இஸ் 6000 divided by delta I is 2000. Automatically the investment multiplier will be 3. And this delta y divided by delta I is equivalent to 1 divided by 1 minus MPC. MPC is nothing but marginal propensity to consume. So this delta I is actually equivalent to 1 minus MPC, and we can take delta Y as 1, so 1 divided by 1 minus MPC, which is also equivalent to 1 divided by MPS, marginal propensity to save. So based on that, we can derive certain conclusions. Whenever MPC is higher, automatically multiplier will also be higher. Higher the MPC, higher the multiplier. Suppose a marginal propensity to consume is lower, the multiplier will also be lower. So in respect of marginal propensity to consume, whenever it is more or higher, multiplier will also be higher. Whenever it is lower, multiplier will also be lower. So there is a direct relationship between marginal propensity to consume and investment multiplier. Think about marginal propensity to save. See, the inverse relationship exists between MPS and multiplier. Higher the MPS, lower the multiplier. Lower the marginal propensity to save, higher the multiplier. Then increase in income actually may happen due to some increase in initial investment, does not go on endlessly. The process of income propagation slows down and ultimately comes to a halt, which sometimes it causes responsible for the decline in income. So என்ன நடக்கலாம் சமயத்துல, the process of income propagation slows down and comes to a halt. சில நேரத்துல குறைஞ்சு போய் சுத்தமா நின்று போயிடும். So causes responsible for the decline in income, எதெல்லாம் வந்து income குறையறதுக்கு காரணமா இருக்கோ, they are referred as what? Leakages. So the reasons which are responsible for decline in income are called as leakages. So leakages are nothing but the reasons due to which there is some decline in income. வருமானம் குறையறதுக்கான காரணங்கள் பல இருக்கும். அதுல எதெல்லாம் வந்து உண்மையான வருமானத்தை குறைக்குதோ அதுக்கு பேரு leakages. So income that is not spent on currently produced consumption goods and services may be regarded as having leaked out of income stream. Income that is not spent, எதெல்லாம் வந்து currently produced consumption goods சர்வீஸ்க்கும் ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணலையோ அதை வந்து நம்ம என்ன சொல்லலாம், இன்கம் ஸ்ட்ரீம்லேருந்து லீக் ஆனது, they are leakages in respect of out of income stream அப்படின்னு சொல்லிக்கலாம். In case the increased income goes out of the cycle of consumption expenditure, there is a leakage from income stream which reduces the effect of multiplier. வருமானம் அதிகமாக இருக்கு, there is some increased income, but it is going out of the consumption pattern or consumption expenditure. Consumption expenditure பண்ணாம வேற எதுக்கோ போயிருக்கு அப்படின்னா it is going out of the cycle, consumption expenditure cycle. அதுக்கு என்ன சொல்லலாம், that can be termed as leakage from income stream. இதனால என்ன நடக்கும், which reduces the effect of multiplier. multiplier ஓட impact வந்து அது குறைச்சிரும். The more powerful these leakages are, the smaller will be the value of multiplier. And பாத்தீங்கன்னா more powerful these leakages are, the smaller will be the value. Multiplier smaller இருக்கும் போதும் the leakages will have the impact to create that is they will have a great impact on income stream. So what are the reasons for leakage? This is very important. Why it happens? What are the reasons for leakage in income stream? நம்ம வெறும லீக்கேஜ் இருக்கு, இன்கம் ஸ்ட்ரீம்ல நமக்கு இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகுது இன்கம், ஆனா அந்த கன்சம்ஷன் எக்ஸ்பெண்டிச்சருக்கு போகாம, கூட்ஸ் வாங்காம, சர்வீசஸ் என்ஜாய் பண்ணாம, instead of getting goods and services, if the income is given to some other aspect, that is it is going out of the consumption pattern, it is termed as leakage, that is known to us. So what are the reasons that may lead to such kind of leakage? எதன் காரணமா இது நடக்குது? What are the reasons? The first one is progressive rates of taxation. So taxes, See, when the taxation rates are of progressive nature, which result in no appreciable increase in consumption despite increase in income. Progressive rate of taxation, especially income tax, when you consider that, what happens when you earn more and more of more and more income? What happens? You are required to pay more tax. So, of course, there is an appreciation or increase in your income, but due to tax element, sometimes it may reduce the consumption expenditure. So, taxes may be the reason. Then high liquidity preference and ideal saving or holding of cash balances and an equivalent fall in marginal propensity to consume. Sometimes people may concentrate on liquidity preference, high liquidity preference. That is, they may retain cash for immediate settlement of any liability, or they may hold the cash balances unnecessarily in the form of idle cash or idle saving. So that may be the reason. Though they have received income, it is not properly spent. And sometimes there is an increased demand for consumer goods being met out of the existing stocks or through imports. So demand could have increased for certain consumer goods, which are actually met by the business concerns by using their existing stocks or by getting imports. வெளிநாட்டிலேருந்து இறக்குமதி பண்ணியோ இல்லை ஏற்கனவே இருக்க ஸ்டாக்கை வச்சு சமாளிப்பாங்க, அந்த டிமாண்டை மேனேஜ் பண்ணுவாங்க. So this is again may cause a leakage in the income stream. Then undistributed profits of the firms or corporations, that may be the reason, the profits which are not distributed. Then part of increment in income which is used for payment of debts. கடன் அடைக்கிறதுக்காக என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, இன்க்ரிமெண்ட் ஆர் இன்க்ரீஸ் இன் இன்கம் could have been used. நம்ம நினைச்சது அவங்க சம்பளம் ஏறினா வருமானம் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆச்சுன்னா அது அப்படியே செலவு கொண்டு வருவாங்க. Household will come for expenditure, consumption expenditure. Sometimes they could have gone for settlement of debts. So if a portion is used for settlement of debts, automatically the expected income will not come towards goods and services. And in case of full employment, when the business sector goes for full employment, actually they require additional investment, and such additional investment actually leads to various things, namely inflation, scarcity of goods and services. Even though they are enjoying high rate of marginal propensity to consume, MPC higher level இருந்தாலும் full employment யூஸ் பண்ணும்போது ஒரு business sector, whenever they go for full employment, that is continuously they are concentrating on production activity, and if they keep on increasing their production, what is required? Additional investment is required. So the additional investment subsequently leads to certain things like inflation, scarcity, etc. And this additional income earned by the household sometimes could have been spent on purchasing existing wealth, or they may go for purchase of securities, government securities, or shares from shareholders or bondholders. So whenever additional income has resulted to the household or to a consumer, either he may go for consumption or he may try this. So whenever he goes for consumption means there will not be any leakage. On the other hand, if he goes for purchase of securities, shares, etc., automatically that results leakage. So these are the reasons: taxes, idle cash, existing stock, undistributed profits, repayment of debt, the full employment, and purchase of shares and bonds. See, the significant element of Keynesian model is that it is related to short period equilibrium, and it does not contain any dynamic elements. See, there is nothing like Keynesian macroeconomic dynamics. அந்த மாதிரி ஒன்று மேக்ரோ எக்கனாமிக் டைனமிக்ஸ் மாதிரி கிடையாது ஒன்று. when a shock occurs, for example, when there is a change in autonomous investment due to change in some variable, one equilibrium position can be compared with another as a matter of comparative statics. And there is no link between one period and the next, and no provision is made for an analysis of processes through time. So Keynesian model pathina, it is actually related for short period equilibrium, and it does not have any dynamic elements. Short period related equilibrium சம்பந்தப்பட்டது dynamic elements எதுவும் கிடையாது. அதே மாதிரி whenever some shock occurs, something has happened means that is there could be some change in autonomous investment. Autonomous investmentல change இருக்கலாம், எதனால ஏதோ ஒரு வேரியபிள் சேஞ்ச் ஆனதால. அண்ட் அதனால என்ன நடக்கும்னா ஒரு ஈக்குலிபிரியமோட பொசிஷன் வந்து இன்னொன்னத்தோட கம்பேர் பண்ண முடியும் கம்பேரிட்டிவ் ஸ்டாட்டிக்ஸை வச்சு. அண்ட் தெர் இஸ் நோ லிங்க் பிட்வீன் ஒன் பீரியட் அண்ட் த நெக்ஸ்ட் பீரியட். ஒரு பீரியடுக்கும் அடுத்த பீரியடுக்கு உண்டான லிங்க்ங்கிறது இங்க கிடையாது. அதுக்கு உண்டான ப்ரொவிஷனும் இந்த அனாலிசிஸ்ல கிடையாது. ஸோ நம்ம இதை ஏற்கனவே பார்த்தது தான் அக்ரிகேட் டிமாண்ட். ஸோ வெனவர் சம் இன்க்ரீஸ் இன் இன்கம் இஸ் தேர், the demand automatically increases to C plus I plus delta I from C plus I. Similarly, equilibrium point also is also gets shifted from E to E1. Now we have to concentrate on the three sector model. See, already we have discussed two sector model. Now we have to concentrate on the next one, three sector model. See, three sector model comprises of household, business and government sector. So the determination of national income or equilibrium income under three sector model will be based on three elements. Y is equal to C plus I plus G. Consumption plus investment plus the government. And how the circular flow is happening in respect of three sector economy. See, already we know that under two sector model we have business and a household. Here we have one more sector, government. If you recall the two sector model, that is business and household, the household will provide the factor services. See the last line, factor services, for which business will pay factor payments, which is the personal income of household. And subsequently the household will go for purchase of, that is they will go for consumption expenditure. They will try to procure the goods and services of the business sector. So when these goods are provided, for which the business sector will receive income. So this was already discussed under two sector model. Now we have one more thing, that is one more area called, that is one more sector called government. So government, whenever the government also plays a role, automatically in addition to the two markets, namely factor market and financial market, we have in addition to factor market, two areas, new areas will come. One is financial market, the other one is product market. How financial market comes? See, whenever government wants to make investment, actually household sector may provide some of their savings in the financial market. Similarly, business may get the same from financial market. Government may also borrow the things, they may also go for borrowings from the financial market. So financial market is actually related to borrowings, which is received by both government and business from household, and for which the household is required to pay taxes to the government. Similarly, business is also required to pay taxes for their income, etc. And the government will provide subsidies to the business. Similarly, some transfer payments will be given to household, and government will also go for purchases. And similarly, the investment expenditure may happen in respect of business towards product market. Household will go for consumption expenditure, which is received by the business sector. Like that, these three sectors are interrelated in various things. That is the circular flow. When you see recall the circular flow of two sector model, whatever factor payments received by the household will automatically spend towards the purchase of goods and services provided by business sector. So again and again there is a flow here. But when there is an involvement of government, automatically the household and business have to play the game with the support of government. So the existence of government is the crucial thing here under three sector model, which is based on reality actually. So when you are asked to determine the equilibrium income under three sector model, again the aggregate expenditure will appear on y axis. Income or output can be can be shown on the x axis. Draw a line which is for a 45-degree line, income line, that is y is equal to c plus s. So consumption line c, and when you go for investment it will go up to c plus I, demand line will become c plus I. Then if you involve government there, it will become c plus I plus g. So the original equilibrium point at y1 is E, that is c plus I level. Equilibrium point is E. When there is a change in income, that is delta y, due to this one government sector, the equilibrium point also shifts from E to E1. Now let us concentrate on the last model, four sector model. See, under four sector model, in addition to the normal sectors, household and business, we will be having, of course, under three sector model, we have seen governments. In addition to these three, one more sector is included, which is foreign sector. வழக்கமா நம்ம பார்க்குற household, business, government தவிர்த்து இன்னொன்று வந்துருது இதில் foreign sectorங்கிறது. So how will you determine equilibrium income under four sector model? See here, to determine the income, y is equal to c plus I plus g plus x minus m, where c refers to consumption, I refers to investment, g refers to government, plus the difference between x is actually exports and m is imports. See, this is based on an assumption exports are more than imports. So whenever exports are more than imports, actually that is good for economy. Only when you have more exports than your imports, there is a chance for increase in your national income or income of the country. That's why this particular aspect is considered generally. That is under Keynesian pattern, Keynesian model. So y is equal to c plus I plus g plus the difference between x and m, x minus m is considered. See, under four sector model, the circular flow will appear like this. In addition to the business, government and households, we will be having that is one more sector, the world, the rest of the world. See, because from the rest of the world implies other countries. So as usual, we will be having the factor market, which is the link between business and household, then financial market, which is the link between business, government and households, product market, which is the link between the three, and also it is linked with the other countries. How? Household, as usual, they will render the services, factor services, for which they will be getting factor payments. Business, will sell the goods to the household. In return, they will be getting what? The consumption expenditure from the household through the product market. Similarly, government. When you involve government, they will provide subsidies to the business, transfer payments to the households. Similarly, taxes will be collected from both business and households by the government. And they will also go for procurement. Similarly, they will also go for borrowings from that is households like business that will be used for production. And when all these sectors are involved in product markets, that is especially when they go for exports, so what will happen? Exports and imports. When you go for exports, foreign exchange will come. Your net capital inflow will come to the business. Whereas when you go for imports from other countries, or when the government goes for imports or business house goes for imports, whatever it may be, whenever you go for imports, what will happen? Automatically your foreign exchange will go out of the country. So the extra two things will happen. One is export and the other one is import. Whenever export is happening to other countries, there is a chance for getting more revenue to the country through exports. Through imports, what happens? Our income level gets reduced. And as per Keynesian model, we have to find out the effect on income when imports are greater than exports. So when imports are greater than exports, what will happen? This will be the scenario. And delta Y, that is change in income divided by change in investment, already we have seen 1 divided by 1 minus marginal propensity to consume, which is equivalent to 1 divided by MPS. So what are all the things we have seen so far? We have discussed the various concepts of national income, the 4 different sectors. Then we also discussed the aggregate demand function on the basis of 2 sector model. Then determination of equilibrium income based on 2 sector model. We also discussed the investment multiplier. Then determination of equilibrium income based on 3 sector model as well as 4 sector model. So when we are thorough with all these aspects, we can easily face the questions pertaining to these 2 areas, the basics of national income accounting and Keynesian theory.